All right. I always wait for it to pop up on my phone. Okay, here we go. All right, ladies. It is Friday. Let me make sure that Sonya and Quanisha are on the screen. I think I got it. Hey, Francesca. I'm trying to get Quanisha and Sonya on the screen so that y'all can see all three of us. And switch to view. Do I need to be gallery? No. Hold on, y'all.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. Y'all can see us, right? Hey, Shantae. Hey, Latrell. Hey, Francesca. Happy Friday, everybody. All right. So if you are joining us live right now, go ahead and drop us a hashtag live. If you are catching the replay, do me a favor and drop us a hashtag replay. As you can see today, I brought some, hey, Rhonda, I brought some beautiful ladies along with me for the ride. So they're going to be doing all the talking and not I for once. So we are completing our 5-day challenge today. And I wanted to make sure that you got an additional solid dose of inspiration, motivation, hype you up, whatever you want to call it, to complete this challenge on the last day. And so that's why I wanted to bring on Quanisha and Sonya. I am so grateful, first of all, to both of you ladies that you were willing to come on and do this. I do think that it can be intimidating, but then also it's like, you're going to be transparent and vulnerable and share openly. And some of these things are relatively intimate. So I really appreciate y'all for being here and doing this. Before we jump in with Quanisha and Sonya about their transformation journey, their testimonial, etc., I do want to quickly have y'all see the updated leaderboard so that everybody can see where they stand as of right now. So I'm going to share that really quickly, and then we'll go back to... Okay, computer. I don't know what it is with my thing today, but it's been giving me all kinds of problems, and it's apparently not wanting me to share anything. Why are you doing this? Is it because it's Friday and my computer is tired, y'all? Here. Okay, I think that's it. All right, can y'all see the leaderboard? Can everybody see the leaderboard? Yes. It's right here. So yeah, I think so. Let me open it up further. I swear I've been having nothing but tech issues today. All right, here we go. So leaderboard, Denise, we've updated the leaderboard a couple hours ago. But just so y'all know, y'all still gonna have time over the weekend to catch up on points, homework, etc. if you need to, if you haven't done everything. Hey T, hey Billy, hey everybody, hey y'all. So Denise is still in first place. She is at 330. She's sitting at 339 points. We got Jordan right behind her at 221, and then we got Rose right behind at 95. Cleo, Diage, Quanisha, all of y'all been coming up and gathering and collecting more points. You still have time. I will be officially announcing the winners, the 3 winners of the free 5-day challenge on Sunday. So you have until Sunday to continue collecting points. So posting homework if you're catching up, because some of y'all are still catching up and watching the replays. So you still have additional time. I wanted to make sure that I let y'all know that. So I'm going to stop sharing. And we're going to go ahead and focus on the testimonials and transformation stories of both Quanisha and Sonya. Hey, Tracy, so glad that you're here. So, Quanisha.
Hello.
We're going to start off with Quanisha. I am so glad that you're here. Thank you for doing this. I know that your story is powerful, and I know that this has the potential to really inspire and motivate and encourage somebody who is listening and watching today. So I want to start off with, if you can give us a little bit of context on your journey, etc., and start off with where you were before you started working with me and what really brought you to me. Let's dive into that first.
Sure. Well, 2024 was an interesting year. And also, thank you for having me on. I'm happy to be here and kind of share my story and hopefully inspire some of the women in the community. So
Yes.
2024 was really hard. Hard for me because I had gained like 20 pounds in the beginning of the year after doing a really intense challenge called 75 Hard. I like rebounded, was eating all the foods.
Mm.
If you don't know, 75 Hard is like two 45-minute workouts a day. You're on a restrictive diet. And then when that was over, I was like, I'm gonna eat all the food and gain all this weight. Thankfully, I lost it, but then I was in this weight loss stall for from July until October. And then every time I was attempting to work out, like I was just having issues. Like I pulled my hip muscle, I was having like daily cramps in my legs, and so I was going to PT and then I just wasn't focused. I was all over the place. And I got to the point where I was like totally sick of myself in October. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna exercise every day. I'm gonna like get my life together and I'm gonna exercise. And I just happened to be scrolling on Facebook when I had this like mindset shift and I saw one of your testimonials. And then Anna was promoting a challenge. And I sat there for like a whole day and watched like all the challenge videos. And I was like, this is exactly what I need. And I like reached out to Anna and I was like, please help me.
Yes.
Yeah, it just made me realize that I didn't have direction in what I was doing. So while some things was getting me results, some things weren't. But I think that mindset shift of saying like, I'm gonna figure this out, I'm gonna be committed to my health and to my wellness, but then realizing that from watching kind of like the training that you all have gone through this week, it was a very similar experience and content that I needed more help. And that if I was to do this alone, I wasn't going to get the results I was looking for, which was lowering my cholesterol. My cholesterol is high. Um, and then overall, like getting to a healthy weight again and feeling good in my body. So that's kind of like what I was struggling with at the time.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. Super relatable. There's a lot of women here today that are kind of in that same situation where it's like they're not happy with their bodies, they don't feel good in their skin, in their clothes, etc. Just not happy with what you're seeing, but then also struggling with some health, like some health markers that are not or not moving in the direction that they should, right? And causing some concerns too. So
Oh, and I
I
was dealing with fatigue every day too. Like I was just tired and drained. I wasn't sleeping well. And so that would lead to daytime fatigue and brain fog. So all of that too is like when you talk about the health issues.
yeah. Yeah, energy, super important. I like that you started this off by telling us about how you had gotten into 75 hard. It's funny because I always talk about all these unsustainable, restrictive, crazy approaches, and I always forget to mention 75 hard. Because I talk about keto, Atkins, and everything else, but 75 hard is another one of those that I'm like, there's a 75 soft, right? That people have like recreated over the years. I love 75 hard because of from the discipline and mindset standpoint. But what I dislike about 75 hard, because most women fall into that trap, is what you've talked about, is the rebound, right? So it's when we come off of 75 hard, then we realize, well, this is not a lifestyle. And then we typically make up for all the restrictiveness, all the burnout, right? The working out too much and all this crazy stuff. So prime example of that. So you did 75 hard, you lost some weight, then you rebounded, you gained some weight back, then you lost weight again, and then you were stuck at a plateau. You were stalling, doing a lot of things, but also realizing, because you said this, that I was all over the place. I had no clear sense of direction. Like I was showing up and I was doing things, but there was no strategy, there was no logic. And I love that you're transparent with that and bringing that up, because that's one of the main things that I'm always talking about in my teaching pieces is strategy is everything. You can show up every day. You can do all the things. But if you are not strategically moving, right, you are not going to see the results that you so deserve and long for. So I'm so glad to hear you share that, because so many women that are watching this are doing the exact same thing. Then what I love even more so is you happen to stumble across a bunch of trainings that I had done back to back. So you weren't even part of, per se, like that actual
Yeah, I didn't
challenge.
attend the live. It was a
Right. You came in like later and then just happened to see him and you were like, wait a minute, let me watch all of this. And you binge watched and were like, wait a minute, this is making me realize a lot of things.
replay.
Would you say that that was that that turning point, that trigger for you, things that I was talking about that made you aware or realize, oh, I'm doing all of those things. I need help.
Yeah, it was definitely the turning point. So the triple shift system, like you explaining that was just like mind blown. I was like, that's exactly what I need. And then you talking about the challenges that we have as women, like the emotional eating was my challenge. Not tending to nutrition, having I know you sometimes curse. I was about to curse. Having a not so great, I was gonna say
You
shitty.
know, I got a potty mouth.
Having a not great metabolism, like I was under eating. And I didn't realize that until I spoke to you and you were like, when I was telling you how much I eat, I was, not eating enough. Um, the mindset pieces around like having cravings, I already said emotional eating. So like even in that training, you shared some of your strategies for addressing emotional eating. And that was like, oh, I never even thought about doing some of those strategies. And then learning the type of exercising that I should be doing. Cause like I said, I had made this plan. I'm gonna exercise every day. Cause I had that discipline from 75 pounds. I was like, I can exercise every day.
Right.
But I was gonna be doing 45 minutes of cardio. And I had started, I was like on the elliptical, and going to the Y and doing the cardio machine. So I thought I had to do like almost 45 minutes an hour of cardio to try to reach my goal. And you kind of debunking that whole thing was like, wow, I don't have to, that's not the path to really losing weight. And that's what during 75 hard, I did two 45-minute walks a day and only lost 10 pounds in 75 days. So
Right.
I knew, so like watching your video and then having that real life experience, I knew that like if I continued on that path of like all the excessive cardio, that I probably wasn't going to hit the goals that I was looking to hit.
Yeah, 100%. I'm glad that that connected for you, and there was like light bulb moment. Okay, wait a minute. The triple shift system is what I'm missing on my journey, and there's a couple of things that are just way off and out of alignment. What's going on with my nutrition, right? But then also with the workout piece, because yeah, that's one thing about 75 hard that I think is atrocious, is that it's making you work out twice a day for at least 45 minutes a piece, and then most likely it often ends up being like too strenuous, too much cardio, etc.
And I was
So
tired. I was tired during that. And then only losing 10 pounds. I was like, that's it. All this hard work.
yeah, that's the other thing. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the frustration that you feel when you're like, I'm not a lazy couch potato. I'm not laying around all day doing absolutely nothing. I'm not a lazy bum. I'm not stuffing my face with cookies from sun up to sundown. Why am I not seeing results? I think that even when I think about my own journey years ago, that might have been the worst piece of it all. It's like, I'm not even just sitting there and just twiddling my thumbs and being a complainer without putting in action. I'm actually putting in a ton of action, but then I'm only losing 5 pounds, or I turn around, I regain 7, right? And I'm just not getting anywhere. I think that's the worst.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that, because I know that's going to resonate with a lot of ladies, and yeah, resonate, but then also give hope. So thank you for that. Sonya, let's turn to you, my beautiful Sonya, who I had the pleasure of hugging in person. That was amazing. But Sonya, let the ladies know, where were you before you joined me? What brought you to me?
Okay, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Welcome.
I feel like I've been on a weight loss journey the majority of my life, honestly. Honestly, that's how I feel. I've tried green smoothie cleanse, I've tried intermittent fasting, I've done Weight Watchers. I got some results, but ended up back at the same place. I stumbled across you, I think maybe about 2021. A young lady that I know, you were coaching her, and she was talking about the pink room or something. So that just caught my attention. And I've been following you ever since.
Mm-hmm.
I've been following you ever since. And so I think it was last year or year before last, I saw you were doing a challenge. I joined one of the challenges, and then I tried to do the exercise. I was out of shape. I tried to do the exercises, couldn't do the exercises. But anyway, I kept following. And then last year, I think I finally committed to a challenge. You were doing a free challenge on the well, it wasn't a free challenge, but you gave a special on the how to lose your belly fat.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
I finally clicked in. I said, okay, I can do this. And so I've been hooked ever since. And I'm so grateful for I believe it's a divine connection, honestly.
Yeah, 100%.
I've been following you, and for some reason I tried to run away, but I come back, kept coming back, kept coming back, and here I am.
That's so true. And I'm laughing because if we had to look back at our conversations, both on Instagram and on Facebook, that's the crazy part, because we talked both on Facebook and Instagram since you started kind of entering my world back in 2021 or something like that. If we went and look back, I'm sure that there's like hundreds of check-ins, hundreds of, hey Sonya, how you doing? I haven't talked to you in a while, right? And it was just, and I kept coming back and I kept coming back, and something just kept telling me, don't give up on her.
Yeah.
And I never pushed you.
Right,
I never pushed you. I never said, you like, come here. No, I never. But it was just, I always felt like that urge to just check on you.
Right.
Periodically, just pop back up. And yeah, it's so funny because then when you eventually said, that's it, I want to work with you, like I'm ready, let's go. I was like, what? Oh my God. Like she's been running from me for like 3 years.
Yeah, pretty much 3 years. That's right.
Yes.
3 years.
Yeah, but definitely divine connection. What if you remember, because I mean it's a while ago, but did something happen? Was there a specific trigger? What kind of like made you snap out of it and say, that's it? Like, I've been following her long enough, I've been running long enough, and now I have to do something. What was that? What was that turning point for you?
I kept seeing the results. The testimonies, the posting. I'm like, this really works. So I need to give this a try. And then my why is I felt like I didn't really know I was overweight, but I was overweight because I thought I was okay. But I knew that I was, in a lot of pain. My mobility was changing and all of that. So my why is to stay mobile. As I get older, I want to be able to stay mobile. Yeah, and the results are that I'm losing weight, But I saw the testimonies, and that I think that's what really drew me. Like, this really works. What she's doing is really working.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's important for me to hear. Because I never know, like when I'm posting stories or when I'm talking about y'all and what all y'all are accomplishing, I never really know, is it landing? Is it inspiring somebody? I always hope that it's giving somebody the courage and that reminder, hey, let me not give up on myself because I'm seeing all these women that are doing this, like clearly, But what I love even more so is that you've seen the testimonials over and over again. You've seen the before and afters. You've seen the transformations. And eventually you said, oh, I'm going to give this a try. If it's working, it's going to work for me too.
Right.
And that's really powerful because I do think that there are women that sit in the sidelines and that some way, somehow are talking themselves out of the possibility of it working for them. But they're seeing y'all and they're like, yeah, okay, cool. Like Quanisha, amazing, wonderful, inspiring, but that ain't gonna be me, Like, oh, Sonya, wonderful, amazing. You're finally, under 200 pounds, blah, 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 blah. That's amazing. I can relate, but that's Sonya. That's not me, My hope is always that like, it really it gives that person that extra push to where they get to the point where they're like, wait a minute, if all these women can figure it out, right, then clearly with her help or with this program, with the triple shift system in my life, then I can do that too. So yeah, I'm glad that you're sharing that.
And I think another reason was she's a good friend, also my mentor. She was working with you. I saw her one day. I was like, how did you lose all that weight? She said, I'm working with Anna. I was like, oh, okay. So that was another reason.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Especially when you see the results on real people that you know, even, and that it helps too with that trust factor. Because I mean, the reality is that we're living in a world where we are having a harder and harder time trusting people. Right. We've been burned. There's so many lies. Then you throw AI in there. Like there's all kinds of stuff that's happening now that makes us like more wary about, I'm gonna hire you, right? But how do I know that this is real, that you're real, that you're really gonna have my back? I think that a lot of us are operating in fear when it comes to that. And that's a true thing. So
Mm-hmm.
it does make it easier too when you see a real person that you know and they're like, yeah, it's me. I'm working with her. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
the other Sonya, not you, but the Sonya in the comments, Sonya Taylor, she said limiting beliefs are terrible. Yes,
Yeah.
because again, I can literally have like 50 of y'all on the Zoom call right here. And 50 of y'all say, I done dropped 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds. And there will still be women that are going to watch this and say, yeah, but that ain't possible for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That ain't possible for me. And so limiting beliefs are absolutely real for sure. Definitely. Thank you. Thank you for dropping that in the comments because it's definitely a factor. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. For this next question, I'll start with you, Sonya. But
Mm-hmm.
so part of your story, your transformation story, is that you gained a lot of weight. You had 3 children back to back, right? You had your 3 kids back to back, and then you gained a lot of weight, and you never really had the break in between, obviously, to take care of yourself, to drop the weight. It was just back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And then you found yourself being like in the mid 200s, right?
Mm-hmm.
After you had your children. And like you said earlier, you did, it wasn't for lack of trying. It was like Weight Watchers and this and that. You tried all these things over the course of many, many, many years, but you would see little results, but they were never sustainable. They never stuck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Will you share with the ladies what have been your results so far in us working together? And if you had to narrow it down to 3 things that made that happen for you, what would those 3 things be?
Okay. For one, I always say it's the accountability aspect of it. I need to be somebody to keep me accountable. So you coming in and checking in on me, that helps a whole lot. Because when I was trying to do it by myself, there was no accountability. And like you said, there was no strategy. So I was just doing stuff.
Yeah.
I might get small results, but they weren't lasting results. So the accountability aspect helps. Also, that you're personable. You treat me as though I'm your only client, and you're relatable. I love it.
Oh, that's
You're
beautiful.
relatable. It's no judgment. So I love if in the aspect you saying progress over perfection, because I'm such a perfectionist, it gets on my nerves. I'm a perfectionist. I hate it. But anyway, I'm learning that I can show myself grace. Even if I don't, if it's not perfect, at least I am making progress, and I can celebrate the progress that I am making. So that makes a whole lot, makes it a whole lot better. So the accountability aspect, you're relatable, um, you care, that helps out a lot. And then learning how to eat, learning the macros. I've never heard about macros. I knew about protein, but I knew it was called macros. But learning how to put that in perspective has changed the trajectory of how I eat food, how I relate to food, because food no longer has power over me. Whereas before it did, it would control me. I wake up thinking about what I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna go to McDonald's. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go there. All these cravings. But now food doesn't have that power over me anymore.
Yeah.
I control what I eat.
Yeah, that is beautiful. That's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. So many nuggets here. So number one, what I really want to point out is that you started off by talking about how accountability is so important to you, and you credit the level of accountability that I provided you with to your results and your transformation. I
Mm-hmm.
want to highlight that because I don't know why, but so many of us think that that's an issue. I shouldn't need somebody to hold me accountable. I shouldn't want somebody to hold me accountable. I'm grown. I've raised kids. I'm a business owner. I'm this, I'm that. Why do I need somebody else to hold me accountable? And I always tell people, get out of your own way and get out of your head. It's a psychological thing. The wealthiest, most successful, most whatever you want people, they have a number of different people that they pay just for accountability in different areas of their lives, whether it's finances and saving, whether it's weight loss and whatever, nutrition, right? And it's just the reality of things that when we have true accountability, we are going to show up differently. We are going to push harder. We are going to be more consistent, and we're going to be held at a higher standard, right? And so I'm glad that you said that. And for the people who don't know you watching this, Sonya has been a successful business owner for a long time. And that tells you about your personality. You are not somebody that needs to be coddled and, like pushed all the time. You are a go-getter. You are a driven woman. You are an entrepreneur. You're a CEO. Like, you're a businesswoman,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I want people to understand that, like, if there's a person like Sonya sitting in front of you who she got it together, she got a thriving business that she's been running, she gonna show up, she's her own boss. And from one entrepreneur and business owner to another, they're like the level of self-accountability that we have to have versus your boss sitting there waiting on you to show up because you got to clock in. Oh, we live in a whole different lifestyle, right? And so for someone like you to say, man, I'm not holding myself accountable. I need somebody else to do that for me. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for your transparency and your openness, because it's not a weakness. That's basically what I would love for all of us, is that we stop seeing it as a weakness. It doesn't make you weak that you need somebody else to hold you accountable. And I am a weight loss coach, trainer, nutritionist, and I have my own coaches because I have my own blind spots. I don't know everything, but also because while I'm going to show up and be consistent, I still want somebody to hold me accountable, because that's going to push me further, right? Your dog wants to talk, but the dog is like, wait a minute, y'all not interviewing me. But so I love that. And then the other thing that you said, which means the world to me from an emotional standpoint, is that I make you feel like you're my only client. I've never heard anybody say that to me. When I tell you that, whew, man, I love that, because I've always wanted to be that person for my clients that I didn't have, because I was on the journey on my own, repeating the same toxic cycles. I didn't have nobody that was speaking life into me. I didn't have somebody that was like, are you okay? Are you good today? You can do this. I didn't have that. And so even as I've grown my business and gotten more clients over time, that's one thing that I've always vowed, is that no matter what this growth is going to look like, I cannot jeopardize my connection to my clients, my individual connection to my clients, no matter what. So I'm so grateful that you say that. And because it's not fake. It's not fake. Like, I love each of you so much, like literally individually, like y'all become family to me. A lot of y'all have connections with that last a lifetime, right? So I'm glad that it comes across that way, because that's really important to me. And I do feel like when you work with somebody who truly cares about your well-being and who almost cares more than you about seeing you be successful, like, it makes you want to show up even more, you know? Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. And the other thing that you talked about is the nutrition, learning how to properly fuel your body, learning how to rewire your relationship with food. I know emotional eating was a thing with you for sure, but so kind of like reframing, healing your relationship with food, but understanding how much do you need to eat, what should you eat, etc. And again, to Sonya being a busy business owner, a thriving business owner, for those of you that don't know, she's a hairstylist, a very sought after hairstylist in our area. And one of the big struggles that Sonya had was what? Well, when you're doing people's hair, are you going to be stopping to eat? Are you even thinking about food when you're busy doing one client's hair? Then here comes the next one and the next one and the next one. You don't think about those things. So with Sonya, we really had to come to a point where we'd incorporate a system around food that was feasible, that made sense, that wouldn't take her away from her work and from her duties, but that also wouldn't require like cooking, sitting down and having like a full prep meal that you warmed up and things like that. And I think that's important for the women here to hear also, because there's not one right way to fuel your body. A lot of people are still stuck on, you got to eat 3 meals a day and 2 snacks in between, and it got to be 1,500 calories and yada, yada, yada. Sonya is the type of person that's doing a whole lot of grazing more than sitting down and having like 3 traditional types of meals. And so we have to work with that and plug in the right things where it fit to make that happen, right? So Sonya, thank you so much for sharing that. In terms of results, Sonya, and I made a post about it, I want to say a couple weeks or months ago, but Sonya was like, I haven't seen Wonderland in how long? 28 years?
Yeah, 28. Because my youngest daughters, they're in heaven now, but They would have been 27 or 28 this year.
Yeah.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Miss Sonya over here was like, Coach, I haven't seen Wonderland. I haven't been under 200 pounds in 28 years. Y'all, I sat here on the other side of my screen and I was just like tearing up and I was like throwing the whole party. And I'm like, man, this right here is just, this is what it's all about. Just incredible. And since then, you have continued to lose weight. You're
Yeah.
continuing to lose weight month to month and continue to improve. And like you said, you're learning more and more to stop seeking perfection on this journey,
Mm-hmm.
but just always tweaking, improving, right? Getting one hurdle out of the way and just getting better at it,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we look at your nutrition today versus where it was like 8 months ago, night and day. It
Yep.
ain't perfect. We keep improving it, but night and day.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for sharing that. Quenisha, I want to go to you. So in terms of your results and your transformation so far, you can feel free to talk a bit about what's changed for you in terms of results, transformation, what you've achieved so far. But then also if you had to pinpoint like the three things that have allowed you to get that transformation, those results so far, what would you say that those are?
Sure. So we've been working together just a little bit under 90 days. It'll be like January 31st, would be like the 90th day.
Can't believe that.
It's
I don't
almost
believe it.
and I've lost about 20 pounds. I think it's like officially like 22 pounds or something like that. And I've lost about 21 inches, or I shed about 21 inches all over my body.
Unreal. Excuse me, but unreal. Can somebody drop some fire in the comments below, please? 21 inches of fat gone forever.
Yes. And
That's
so one of the things I love that you offer is the customization and just about everything. And particularly I have the most fun with the workouts. So the circuit trainings that you set up that are completely customized to me, like I feel so good in my body. You know, I was in pain as I described, like I was having muscle aches. I had pulled like my hip muscle, my joints were hurting, like my ankles hurt when I walked at times, like I guess from the weight that I had. And I feel stronger. I'm regaining my flexibility. And then if I do have an issue, like if I kind of trigger like an old injury or something, like you further customize the workouts and you're like, well, let's do some more strengthening for that, for your hip muscle or anything like that that may get triggered from me doing the activity. So I love the customization. And then that falls into everything else. So like you customize the way you talk to me about mindset, you customize the way you talk about the nutrition. So the mindset piece, I would say, is the second thing that contributed because I struggle with emotional eating, like full out binges, y'all. Like it can get ugly, right? And so I was also afraid of carbs because most of my binge eating was, or emotional eating would be chips, you know, sandwiches and like all these kind of things like that. And so I was afraid to eat carbs because I was associating one with my rapid weight gain. And then in general, I think in the industry and in the health industry, you kind of hear carbs are bad. And
yeah.
so you have specific strategies for dealing with emotional eating and helping to like address that and reduce that. And then you taught me that carbs aren't bad. They're just like neutral, right? They're actually our fuel. They're an energy source. And so that helps me to shift because I was like under eating my carbs even after Anna has set these very specific nutrition
Yes.
goals for
I
me.
remember.
She was like, I'm gonna need you to eat some more. And I was like, really? Do I have to? So I was still very
Yeah.
hesitant. So like that customizing of the mindset, like so even though you have kind of I guess, your trainings on like how we all should think about mindset as a group, like all the clients. I
Yeah.
love that you kind of tailored the conversation to me and the coaching,
Yeah.
and the virtual coaching and those kind of things. And then when fears came up, I felt comfortable to share them with you. And then you further had conversations with me that helped me to kind of like deal with that and heal from, you know, the struggles I have with food. Because I
Yeah.
saw my body as a prison, you know, mentally and physically. Like I was just like, I don't even know what this thing is. Like, and it's been years of that, almost a decade of feeling that way, or a decade plus of feeling that way. And so like but from all the customization and you speaking to like my particular needs, like I have healed so much of that mentally and physically with my body. I'm actually starting to feel like my old self. Like I was an athlete growing up. I danced my whole life. And I always was kind of in awe of what I could do with my body, and all that is coming back. And then the third thing, and I kind of talked about this in the mindset, is the nutrition coaching. I had a horrible relationship with food. Like, like I said, I had the binge eating, the overeating, but I just didn't know what to eat. Like, I was just like, and I kind of put in my head that like being hungry was the good thing. Like, it was almost like either I was overeating or not eating. And so you kind of helped me to understand that I was under eating and that was impacting my metabolism, so that when I did eat, I was gaining weight extremely quickly because my metabolism was shot. And I didn't know what I was supposed to be eating. I didn't know the type of nutrients. And so you kind of customize once again. You're like, here's your calories, here's your protein, here's your carbs, here's the fat you should be aiming for. And it just took the game plan that you kind of set up in all these areas, of particularly with nutrition. It just took the thinking out of it for me. I'm like, okay, bet this is what I'm supposed to
Yeah.
do. And
Yeah.
then you gave me a meal plan. And
Yeah.
so you give a sample meal plan. So it doesn't have to be restrictive and like the breakfast has to be this breakfast. But by having that example of like, here's how you eat this many calories in a week period, I was like, and then it gave me ideas for meals that I could buy from the supermarket and those kind of things like that. So that customization and having it tailored to me around my picky eating, I'm very picky.
Yeah. She's not
So
lying,
like, and so you incorporated that, the foods that I like and how to eat them and when to eat them. And so all of that has been extremely helpful. So the customization, the clarity, and the game plan, I would say, have
y'all.
contributed to my transformation.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I love it. So, couple of things. So, the clarity is a game changer, a whole game changer. I'm so glad you brought it up. Why? Because so many of us, I mean, we're women in 2025, we're running businesses, we're going to school at night, we have full-time careers, demanding careers. We have to show up for the children and their homework and their practice and whatever else. We got spouses, other loved ones that we're taking care of, right? There's so many components and so many facets. And I think, to be frank, including myself, we are spread thin, right? Too thin, I should say. I don't think that this is the healthiest society that we're living in, but that's a talk for another day. But in the midst of all of that, I find it sometimes crazy that so many women are like, but I should be able to have the capacity to build my own game plan. But when, how, where, with what? Like, are you for real? Like, you got 3, 4, 5 kids, you got grandkids, right? Like you operating a business, you're doing this, you're doing that, and all that stuff, and you're trying to catch enough sleep, and you think somewhere that in all of this constant overwhelm, your brain is like, yeah, sure, let's sit down and come up with a realistic, effective, manageable game plan. No, no, right? And so I'm glad that you brought that up about the fact that it was like, I don't have no problem executing and implementing. My problem is, what should I be doing each day of the week? What do I need to do on the weekends? How much do I need to eat? What does that look like? Can you figure that shit out? And I'm gonna go and do it, right? And that's exactly it. Like, and I'm the same way as a coach myself. I have other coaches, and I'm like, just tell me what to do.
Yes.
Figure it out for me. Like, and I tell them, I'm like, listen, I got 70 plus clients. I got 2 kids I'm raising by myself. I'm OCD. I need a clean house, right? Like I got 2 dogs to take care of. I'm not trying to figure the day to day of everything out. Let me go pay somebody who knows what they're talking about. And I know that they have good intentions and they care about me, because it ain't just you good at what you do. No, I need to know that I'm in good hands from an ethical standpoint. That's important to me. And then you tell me what to do. And then I'm going to go and do it. And then I know you're going to check in with me. So I know I got to do it, you know? And when we pay money, we pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm paying you to come up with my game plan, I know I paid you. Oh, I'm showing up.
Yep.
I ain't wasting my money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I worked too hard for that money. I got to pay attention, right? And on top of that, it's the clarity. I ain't got to think about it. You already figured it out for me. And boom, I just execute. You hold me accountable and I get results.
Right.
Okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's beautiful. The other thing that you talked about is the customization. And I talked about this quite a bit in the last 4 days inside of this challenge, but so many women are getting to the point where they're like, I must be the problem. My metabolism is broken. My body's broken. It's because I'm a mother and I'm 50 and I shouldn't be the skinny chick that I want to be walking around half naked in Cancun. Whatever scenarios and excuses we come up with. And I'm like, no, that it's none of that. It's because everything you found yourself doing was not built for you.
Right.
It's like, when did we get away from the need or the desire to put ourselves in other people's boxes and categories? I'm proud to be Anna and everything that Anna is and stands for. And I'm totally okay with the fact that I'm nothing like Sonya, right? We need to honor who we are as women and not change who we are to get XYZ results, but make sure that the approach we utilize to get XYZ result honors who we already are today, right? And so I'm a firm believer that customization is the absolute game changer. And so I'm glad that you brought that up and that's been one instrumental thing for you, Quanisha. It's like, okay, you got the mindset trainings, you got the meal plans, you got the workouts and stuff, but every step of the way, you tweaked it, tailored it to what I had going on and what was going to be right for me. And so ultimately, you're always left doing exactly what's right for you and what makes sense for you, right? And so that is amazing. I also love the fact that you said you even like kind of like tailored how you're talking to me about the mindset piece or what I struggle with specifically mindset wise. And it's funny because I study y'all. I'm a Virgo. I ain't got no choice. I study y'all because I'm very analytical, so I don't miss nothing. And I start to understand what ticks her off, what hypes her up, what motivates her, what triggers her, what does not work for her, right? I learn all these things about each and every one of y'all and y'all's personalities. And then I'm like, okay, bet I gotta talk to her like this. Oh, Sonya, I talk to her like that. I got some of my clients, I be cussing them out because that's what works with them. Like for real. Like some of y'all, I'm so professional. I'm so professional. I'm like, oh, hi, happy Friday. So good to hear from you. Let's go. Right. And then some, I'm like, get your fucking shit together right now. Because that's the personality that I'm operating with, you know? But that is literally how much to the T I'm customizing my entire coaching experience with y'all, because I really would want somebody to do the same with me, you know, figure out what works for me. And then like, it's just going to roll effortlessly. So this is beautiful. Quanisha, I have another question for you. With all the results that you've experienced and all of what you accredit to this transformation, these changes, you mentioned that you're feeling more like your old self. Love that, because I always hear women say, when I ask them, what's your vision? What are your goals? They always say, I just want to feel like me again. It's like, we can't put it into words. We can't really describe it or nothing. But I think from one woman to another, we get it. Like we somehow get what that means, right? In your day-to-day life, what are some things that you're noticing changing, improving, like just that are feeling amazing now since you've had this experience, these results and these changes?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to share. I am happy. Like, and that's such a big deal because I have bipolar disorder. And so like I feel like if neutral was here, I was always hovering around here. And I guess from the workouts and probably also do nutrition, like, and also I get seasonal depression. Had it for like the last 15 years. Like it starts in November. It gets worse when we had those 10 weeks of like darkness. It's hard. My body feels heavy. And I have had none of that. None of it since I started working with you
Wow.
at the end of October. So like I'm happy go lucky. I'm like, it's winter, it's cold, it's cool. I don't love winter, so it's not that far. But
Yeah.
it's
Right.
I
We ain't there
like I
yet.
feel like it's summertime. Like that's how that's how much. So like I'm happy. My moods are elevated. I don't have any seasonal depression for the first time since I was like 21 years old, and I'm 40. I'm about to be 41 in a month, right? So like that's just mind blown, right? Like I don't like I have a mood disorder. I'm not feeling mood swings. Everything has been like stable and elevated. So like I'm genuinely happy. I'm not in daily pain. Like it was the point where like my legs were like cramping at night. I was like walking slow. Like I said, I had this hip pain, I had this tightness. And so like basically there's none of that. Like sometimes I may do a movement and I may like, oh, my lower back is a little twinge because I have like lower back stuff. And then I talk to Anna and she makes it all right and give me some stretches. And then I'm good. But like I literally can walk. Like the other day I had to rush to my son's school and I walked and I wasn't winded and I didn't have cramps in my calves. And I was just like, wow, like all those little, you notice those little differences in your daily life. And so that has improved. Like I said, I feel like my old self. I'm starting to feel like an athlete again. So that's why I think that's why I love the workout so much. I'm like, yeah,
I was about to say, with the workouts I be throwing at you, you
I know.
should feel
I'm like,
like you're
I did those
now.
lunges, I did those squats, I got through my reps.
Yep.
So with that is coming more confidence. Like I feel confident
Mhm.
in myself. And I've had a lot of things that has happened in the last couple of years where my confidence was shot. So to feel confident again. And every day I feel a sense of accomplishment, completing the exercises, completing my nutrition goals, hitting my protein goals. And so it's like it just feels great. So I'm pretty sure all that also contributes to like the mood
Yeah.
stability. I feel good in my body. I don't no longer feel like my body's a prison and it's basically we're at war and I feel good mentally. And so those two things, that mind, body, spirit, I like it's like a complete 180. Even my husband and children are commenting. They're like, "Mommy, you're not in the bed anymore." Because I was
Wow.
always so tired and so that's the other thing, this fatigue that I would have every day. It's kind of basically gone. Like I was drinking Red Bull like every day and I haven't had an energy drink in about almost 2 months. Um, and so even my husband's like, who is this woman? I'm like, this is who you were before I met you, before I had all these issues.
Yep.
So, like, so my family have seen the difference too. And they're like, we like this. Can you keep this up? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna keep working with Anna so I can, I
Oh,
can keep up this
man.
lifestyle. So, yeah, so that's kind of like how my day-to-day life has improved.
That is beautiful. Oh my gosh, so rewarding, so fulfilling. Also to just hear you say that. Because I mean, not only you're sitting here, you're glowing, by the way. You're glowing, right? And so everything that you're talking about, we can sense, feel it, see it. Like it's that aura. It's like hard to explain, but like we know it's there for real. And to know how this is changing your life as a person. You're aging backwards. I gather it that you're aging backwards. When you said all that, like I got more energy, I'm like that, like you're literally aging backwards. And that means that you have better quality of life. That means that you can get more out of life. That means that like you said, you're happy. Seasonal depression is awful.
Mhm.
I go through it too. I've been dealing with that for over a decade too. It sucks, and depression itself. And so to hear all these things, I'm like, wow, this is absolutely incredible. But while it's so beautiful all the way around, to know that your children end up having a better experience of you as your mother, thanks to you making that investment in yourself, and thanks to
Mhm.
you showing up every day and saying, I've got to live better. I've got to do better. I'm pushing forward, blah, blah, blah. Even when, sometimes you don't feel like it, but you're still showing up. I mean, that might be the part that touches me the most as another mom, is to know. I mean, because like sometimes you hear parents talk about how, or other people talk about how my mom, she was always sick. My mom, she never did anything with us because she was sickly and she never had energy. And right. And like it affects us as adults later on in life because those are the memories that we have of our moms. And I hear that a lot. And so imagine your children, they're going to grow up and later on in life, they're going to be talking probably with like their faces like lit up when they're going to be talking about, well, my mom, she had energy and my mom, she played with us and my mom, she was hands on and my mom, she was always like, hey, whatever y'all want to do, let's go. Right. That is incredible, incredible. And I know your energy was one of the biggest issues, that
Mhm.
fatigue, and you had to take a nap, multiple naps just to make it through the day, on top of the Red Bulls, by the way. That was all a combination of things. So just incredible. I mean, incredible. If you had one piece of advice for the women who have been listening in the sidelines, watching this, having conversations with me, whatever, who can relate to your story, your struggles, and who want some of these results too, what would that piece of advice be?
Don't do this alone. Get the tailored support you need to be successful. Like, yeah, you can sit here and figure it out and read all the books and go on TikTok and Instagram, but there's way too much noise in the space, and then we come with our own baggage in addition to that. So I'm glad that I realized, like, one, I didn't have to do this alone. I'm following a plan that makes sense for me and my needs, and I have a trusted advisor. So it takes a lot of the decision making and thoughts and all those things that, you know, can be a stressor away. So if I have a question, I have Anna. I can just go ask her. If I need something tailored, hey, could we try this? Could we do this? Or my back hurts a little bit. Can, you know, what can happen? So, you know, get the support that you need to be successful and invest in it. That's cool.
Beautiful. Don't do it alone. Get the support that you need and deserve. Invest in yourself. I love that. And yes, you can read all the books. You can watch all the TikTok videos. You can follow every fitness influencer on the internet. And all that happens eventually is an overwhelm of information that ends up being lead to analysis paralysis. I see it all the time. Women come to me with all kinds of knowledge that they've been studying online and no action taken. Why? Because it's like the more information you're taking in, the more overwhelmed you become, the more over the place you end up being, the less you get results.
Right.
So you nailed it. Sonya, in your day-to-day life, thanks to these results, your weight loss, building the strength, changing your nutrition and things like that, what have you noticed has improved significantly and drastically in your everyday life? I know you're going to say confidence is one of them. I know
Yeah,
confidence.
you know, get out of my head. Right. Yeah, yep. I can honestly say this is the most confident I've ever felt that I can remember. Because I've dealt with self-esteem issues growing up, all of that. And I remember you saying that you can't hate yourself into the body of your dreams, right? So I used to didn't like me, you know. So I can honestly say now, as long as I can remember, I feel good in me. I feel good being me in my body, you know. I can look in the mirror now and really take a long look at myself. Whereas before I take a glance and then but now I can look at myself and feel good, you know. So I'm grateful for the transformation. You know, the weight loss, the mind shift, that's the major thing, the mind shift
Yes.
aspect of it. Um, just learning to love me, you know. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. I can love myself on the way to where I'm going. So it's
Sonya
okay to
came to
love me.
preach.
It's it's okay to love me, you know. You know, especially dealing with that growing up, just not loving me.
Yeah.
I'm learning to love me. The older I get, I love me, and I'm grateful for this journey, this transformation in my body that I'm seeing, and it's affecting me in every aspect.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things that you're teaching, I can apply to other aspects of my life,
Yeah.
especially the mind shift thing. Is how you think determines your actions and everything in life. So the mind shift thing is very, very important. So
Yeah.
just thinking better, having a clearer view of my life has helped me on a day-to-day basis.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I didn't come here today to cry, okay? I don't have no tissue, no nothing sitting right here ready to go. I need to start preparing myself better and expecting that y'all gonna come and yeah, and try to make me cry over here. But it's all powerful, but what stands out the most is the fact that is to know that you you have learned to love yourself in the process. And that now these are actions that stem from a place of love versus of self-abuse,
Right.
right? Like, oh, I'm so gross, I'm disgusting, I can't stand to fucking look at myself, like this is ugh, right? Now it's like I'm moving my body because I love myself. I'm putting these foods into my body because I love myself. That's a whole different energy. That's a whole different energy. And then it translates into different aura, right? People feel that positive energy. Better things happen to you. You attract better people. Like it just, and like you said, it trickles down to all these other areas of your life because now you're approaching it with the mindset of, I'm doing this because I love myself. I do this because I'm worthy of it. I do this because I can. I do this because I believe in myself. And then it translates to everything else. Um, and the fact that you're able to look in the mirror for an extended period of time and be like, okay,
Yeah.
I see you.
Yep.
That is beautiful.
Yep.
And the other thing is that that just confirms something for me too. Like it's never too late. It's just it's never too late.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you've been struggling with your self-image and low self-esteem, right? Since basically your childhood.
Yeah.
And you're here sitting here today and you're like, this is the most confident I've ever felt. This is the most that I've ever loved myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is like, wow, it's never too late.
Mm-hmm.
It's never too late to do this work. Like no matter what stage you're at or in your life, and no matter how old you are, whatever. Like if you're here, right, amongst the living, there's still time and an opportunity. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I didn't even know all of this was gonna come out today, y'all. This is not rehearsed. If it had been rehearsed, I would have came with some tissue ready to. But Sonya, if you had one piece of advice for the ladies who are listening and watching and maybe on the fence or struggling with the same things as you and can relate to your story, but want the transformation and want the results, what would be your advice to them?
It's okay to invest in yourself. It's okay to love yourself, to pour into yourself. As a young mom, I didn't do that. I was on like a robot. I think about that now. I said, I don't see how in the world I had 5 kids, and I can remember one day not even sitting down. As I look, I'm older now, but I look back. I tell young moms now, take that cape off. Take the cape off. It's okay. So I would advise you to invest in yourself. Love yourself. It's okay to pour into yourself because you can't give out what you don't allow to come in.
Powerful.
You're trying to. I remember I was actually running on empty. So it's okay to pour into yourself so that you can give from a place of fullness and not be running on empty. You're not really giving anything when you're on empty. And also I would say take one day at a time, give yourself grace, celebrate your wins. Do not compare yourself to anybody else because your journey is different from anybody else's.
Yes. Oof.
You can only be you and enjoy being you.
Oof. That's beautiful. Somebody passed a collection plate around. Sonya came to preach, y'all. Sonya came to preach. But yes, I'm for real. I'm serious. But oh my goodness, that was so powerful. Invest in yourself, right? Learn to prioritize yourself, put yourself first, which is the biggest challenge for probably 99.2 women, percent
Yeah.
of women, right? Prioritize yourself, but understanding that it's an act of self-love and it's also an act of self-love for everyone else.
Right.
It's because it's like, well, I keep pouring into you, but I ain't got nothing to give you at this
Mm-hmm.
point. Because, like you said, I'm on E, I got nothing left. And I keep trying to pour, but I got nothing, right? Because my cup has long run dry. So that is so, so powerful. And I also love your advice about um just basically speaking life into yourself every step of the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Life to yourself every step of the way, acknowledging, embracing, celebrating every bit of progress, every win, and back to not seeking perfection, but just the awareness of I'm getting better,
Right.
right? I'm getting healthier, whatever that looks like. Powerful. This was really, really powerful and incredible. I can't thank y'all enough for showing up and being willing to do this. I mean, you've dedicated an hour of your precious time to do this. And I hope that the women who are watching this and listening to this see that as an act of love too. That's an act of love, by the way. What y'all have just done is like, hey, I've been pouring into myself, I've been transforming, I've been changing myself, I've invested in myself, and I want to give that to, and I want to give some of that. I want to share some of that with someone else. So there's a part of you that in some way wants someone else to receive the healing that they need.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Diage, we're still live. Diage say hashtag replay. We're still live. However, you're going to have to go back and watch the replay because we're about to get off. But ladies, Quanisha, Sonya, I cannot thank y'all enough. Also, I'm incredibly grateful that you are my clients. You could have chosen, and I always tell y'all that, but y'all could have chosen, let's be real, you could have chosen any weight loss coach, in the world. And of course, I do believe that God has a hand in that. Both of y'all are nodding. I do believe that God has a hand in like my who are my ideal clients and sends me like my tribe of followers and clients because somehow y'all resonate with my personality, my story, whatever it is, how I look, who knows, right? But however, still, I am proud of both of you for making the investment, making the commitment, making the decision, right? And I am honored every step of the way that you chose me to be your coach. It just means a lot. It means a lot. So when you feel like you get the personalized touch, the customization, you feel like you're my only client, it's because that comes from the heart, you know?
Mhm.
So I thank y'all so much for being here today. Thank you so much for this. I have a feeling that it's gonna help a lot of women for sure. And on that note, ladies, keep a smile on your beautiful faces. Go into the world, enjoy the rest of your Friday, spread love and positivity to those around you. And remember that above all, you deserve to live in the body of your dreams. Thank y'all so much. Bye, y'all. Bye, ladies.